Hi, it's Kathy, and I am here to show you how I make my stuffed shells Florentine. My husband John says that they're about the best he's ever had, and I've had some other people say the same, so I'll show you how I make it. It's really not that difficult. It just takes more time than anything. I start with a 32-ounce container of whole milk ricotta cheese. I always go whole milk with as much as I can. I think it helps the flavor. This block of mozzarella cheese is whole milk, and that'll be for the topping. That won't go in the mix. That'll be for on top of the shells after they're almost done baking, and then we want to melt the mozzarella on top. I do use mozzarella in the mix. I use shredded mozzarella. An 8-ounce package of shredded mozzarella is fine. I can't find whole milk, so I just go with that, with the part skim. One of the things that I do that many people don't is I add cream cheese. I don't go with the whole milk cream cheese. I go with the neufchatel, which is a little bit lower fat. And depending on how far you want to stretch the recipe, anywhere from a half of this block, this is an 8-ounce block, anywhere from a half a block to the whole block. Just as you're mixing it, you can judge. I'll probably, if I'm making this whole package, I'll probably go with the whole 8 ounces today. I have 2 eggs that go in. Very, very finely chopped onion, only a 1/4 cup. I won't even use this whole onion because we don't want to overpower the flavor of the shells. A little dash, not much, just a little bit of garlic powder, touch of salt, a few twists of the pepper grinder, and just a few bits of grated nutmeg on there. And then finally, the chopped spinach. And what I do, this is a 12-ounce package. You can go with 10 ounces or 12 ounces, fine. And I'll take that at thawed, and then I squeeze it, rinse it, and squeeze as much of the water out as possible until it's nothing left but a block of really well squeezed spinach. And that goes in to the mix at the end. Then the big secret here is going to be whipping it. And it really is important to whip it. You won't get the creamy consistency if you don't, and I'll show you that in a bit as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going. When it finally goes into the oven, I'll put the stuffed shells in the pan, and then I'll top it with a marinara. Just use whatever marinara of your choice. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this started for you. Hi again. As you can see, everything's ready to mix up. The ricotta, the neufchatel or whole cream cheese, the mozzarella, shredded mozzarella, your spices. Go ahead and get that onion, that very finely chopped onion, about a 1/4 cup in. Get these eggs in, and then I am going to whip it up. And again, I mentioned don't put the spinach in until after this is mixed, and this is what I was talking about, getting the spinach really as dry as you could. I rinsed the frozen chopped spinach. Don't use cut leaf, use chopped. It's easier to use and spread around in this recipe. So that's ready to go in after all this is whipped up. And I'm not gonna do this on camera because this is an ancient mixer and I'm in a rental unit, so I don't have my normal mixer, and it's just gonna take too long. So I'll just go ahead and get this started, and I'll come back to you when this is ready to add the spinach. You can probably see that this mix is now pretty creamy. I whipped it up for a few minutes, and of course you're still going to have the chunks of the shredded mozzarella, but that's fine. That's all going to get incorporated. Now I'm just going to go ahead and get this chopped spinach in there. I'm just going to break it up a little, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the beater, once again to mix that in. As you can see, the spinach really spread out through this mix, and it doesn't really take a lot. That 10 or 12-ounce package of chopped spinach spreads around really nicely, and we're thinking that this particular batch should yield about 27 or 30 or so shells. And so we pre-cooked the shells. They're ready to stuff. Cooked them for 10 minutes, and now it's just a matter of getting the stuffing in them and getting them in the pan and stuff. I don't want to put too much in that we run out of stuffing. And we'll let you know how much this yields, and we're ready to put it into the oven. Okay, we just filled up as many as we could, and they're ready to be topped with sauce. Turns out we got 35 shells out of this batch. At this point, all we need to do is cover these with sauce and throw them in an oven for about an hour or so. Well, not quite an hour, they're not frozen. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cover these up. We're gonna cook them until they reach, what, about 160 in the middle, and then we'll top them with cheese. All right, in this batch, it turns out that I used 2 jars of the sauce, and I should have mentioned that because we were making a really large batch. We made, like I said, 35 of them. 1 jar will take care of this large lasagna pan. If you need to just make an estimate, one jar should do 1 pan, but since we're making a large one. One thing I should have mentioned is when you make these shells, what you can do is stuff them, put them on a cookie sheet on top of some parchment paper on a cookie sheet, and freeze them individually, and then you can cook them after they're frozen. So I'm going to go ahead and just put these in the oven now. There they are, fresh out of the oven with the melted mozzarella cheese on them. You could put more or less as you wish, but now we're getting them in a box for transportation, and we're off to a party with them. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy the recipe.